Given the current political situation, originally from the Philippines, holding a US passport, these are my experiences with my family as I traveled to the capital of China, Beijing. Just like all international departures, we started it off at the NAIA Terminal 1. It was an early morning flight, and you see a lot of passengers, Filipinos alike, sleeping while waiting for the boarding process. Our flight to Beijing was Philippine Airlines PR358. Yes, it says Peking. I learned that Peking was a baptized name by the Westerners to the current capital city of Beijing. Going to our gates felt like going to a basement of some sort, but that's okay. The plane was up and ready. This Philippine Airlines Airbus has been always doing its job in the last 10 years. Overall, the flight was okay, and just like any regular flight, I have no complaints but can't help notice the difference between the younger flight attendants versus the veterans in the service. The younger ones were always eager to help out and displayed a lot more patience when they deal with the customers. The landing was like butter. Shout out to all the Filipino pilots. This airport is enormous. The size of it is comparable to the major airports in the continental United States. And just like all the major airports I've been into, it is situated far away from the city center of Beijing. I've also learned that there's two airports that usually tourists would fly into, and this is one of them. I also noticed that disembarkation from a Philippine Airlines is different. Despite of the clear instructions from the flight attendants, it has remained slow. Perhaps the passengers, I guess. The instructions were both in Chinese and English, and you just follow through what you see. If you can speak Chinese, just so you know that they do speak the Mandarin version here. The airport itself was modern and sophisticated. The amenities are comparable to any international airport, if not better. The structure itself was impressive, and a lot of cameras all over. I wonder if they have the facial recognition software as well.
You like it?
Next, you will stop by the biometrics section. Here, they will take your fingerprints with the China Customs. If you're recording, it's time to switch it off, as cameras and recording is not allowed here. You will complete your arrival cards for each passenger. Just the basic information of your flight, to your names, and the dates. After answering basic questions and completing our fingerprints, we moved on to the train station for our luggages. This will lead us to the baggage area. So far, so good, and everything was in order. My impression of their baggage area is clean, spacious, and modern looking. The conveyor belt displays were mainly in Chinese, with some translation in English at the bottom. Here's a cute and creative reminder. Better off than just a plain cardboard. Next, for some spending money, make sure to change your currency to the local yuan. Although WeChat and Alipay is commonly used here in China, it doesn't hurt to have some cash. After baggage pickup, we followed the exit sign to meet up with our tour guide. We are officially in Beijing, China, although your experience may be different from ours. Originating from the Philippines with a US passport was not as intimidating as I thought it would be.
You can have a better understanding of the Chinese people and some policies. Yeah.
Beijing is a modern capital city with 22 million inhabitants, making it the world's most populated national capital. It has modern freeways, buildings, and cars both imported and locally made. Obviously, they take pride with their own brand. It was already late after we have settled in our hotel, and while looking for an authentic local place to eat, we were greeted by thunderstorms and lightning. I asked, and it is not quite typical for Beijing to have this weather. We found this tiny place to eat some noodles, and normally you order by QR code and pay via Alipay or WeChat. I observed typical in the menu was the beef skewers in tiny servings, fried potatoes, ramen noodles on a soup,
Tofu.
and my favorite, the tofu.
It's French fries.
You can always ask for a fork, but be ready to use some chopsticks. So much for our first day, our first meal. In the capital of China,